Hello everyone, this is Joelle Simone Anthony, the Grave Woman, and today we're going to discuss grief from a different perspective. A lot of times in our society, we limit the word grief to be associated only with the passing of a loved one, friend, or colleague. When in reality, the word grief actually means to experience the loss of any kind. I think that it's important that we address this because there are going to be things that happen in life. Today we're going to focus on 3 of them that are going to give us a grieving experience. Those 3 things are the loss of a relationship, the loss of a career or business, and also I'm going to talk a little bit about the grief that I've noticed being experienced through social media. The first thing about losing a relationship. As we get older, we have different types of relationships in life. We have platonic relationships, we have work relationships, we have romantic relationships, we have relationships of all kind. And when we lose a relationship, whether it be through a falling out, whether it be through having to move, whether it be through, just any type of change that could occur, we do and can experience symptoms of grief. Another loss that we experience and that I've personally experienced myself is the loss of a job or a business. Those losses can be devastating. I don't know if you guys remember, but I think it was back in 2011 when we had the big market crash here in the United States. There were actually individuals who were so affected by the loss of their possessions, their means of providing for their families, and just other material losses that they actually committed suicide. We see this all the time on the news, people breaking up with their boyfriend. The next thing you know, they're dead. And the person who's either killed themselves or taken the life of someone else hasn't actually experienced the death of that individual or thing, but they've lost it, and it's caused such an emotional reaction with them that it's caused them to lash out violently, resulting in a death. So I think that it's important that we talk about this. The last thing is social media. We live in a world where we are bombarded by images and by, just even this video. This is entering your space. My energy and my message is coming into your space. And though my intentions are positive, and I'm not intentionally giving off, any negative energy, a lot of times what we perceive and see online can affect us negatively. A lot of times we see news stories come through where we are not directly associated with the loss of life or the loss of whatever's going on, but it has an emotional effect on us that we may or may not know is affecting us consciously or subconsciously. So I wanted to let you guys know exactly what grief is, and I also wanted to give you the stages of grief that can be found at recoverfromgrief.com. Now, this is a website that is designed to help those who are experiencing the loss of a loved one cope and manage their grief, but I think that these steps are essential to anyone who's experiencing a loss of any kind. And there are a group of stages that we experience when we are grieving. The first is shock and denial. The second is pain and guilt. The third is anger and bargaining. The fourth is depression, reflection, and loneliness. The fifth is the upward turn. The last is reconstruction and working through. The 6th is reconstruction and working through, and the 7th is acceptance and hope. And I want to add one more thing to that. We were in mortuary school and we were studying the stages of grief. One of the things that our psychology professor was a big stickler on and driving into our heads was it's important to guide people towards the reinvestment of energy. Whether you're experiencing the loss of a relationship, a career, job, or you're just being impacted by things that you're seeing on social media, remember that you can always reinvest that energy into something more positive. Not saying that grief is a negative thing, but it's an experience. It shouldn't be a lifestyle. Don't allow your grief to overwhelm you to the point where you're just stuck in it. And I know that may come off as a little insensitive, and I'd apologize if it does, but we're on this planet to experience things. Some of our experiences are good, some of our experiences are bad. But at the end of the day, it's all an experience. And an experience is an ongoing process. So you can learn more about, grief as it pertains to non-death related events by visiting my website, www.thegravewoman.com/blog. I look forward to hearing from you guys in the comments section and your emails. Live life, love hard, and I'll talk to you next time.